In today's Rambam, Hilchis Tumas Meis, Perik Chamisha Osir, the first Perik of today's Rambam, there is a few halachas that the Ravid is mechulik in the Rambam. The first three asagas are Ravids on the Perik, the Rambam is mechulik with the Rambam, and three dinim that lechura it seems quite obvious that they're all really one yisoid, that the Rambam and the Ravid are mechulik in over here, legabe this inyan that he's talking about here. The Teichen HaKlali is when you're being mimayit a Pesach or a Chaloim, legabe havaras hatuma. In other words, we have tuma, we have a mace or something that's netame, Tumas Meis in a room, in a house, and there's a window or a door that's open and bringing the tuma into the next room. So the Teichen of this Perik is what you could do in order to close up that window so that the tuma should not be transferred from room A to room B. And the Rambam talks about it in Halach Aleph, Chaloim tashmish shestoma kula istoma ashnisha b'pachos mitafach. If you have this window of usage that you blocked it all up or blocked it up to the point where there's less than a tefach opening. So in bedavar hachoytzetz b'fnei hatuma sosa, if you were soisem, you blocked it up with something that's choytzetz, that blocks tuma, or is a choytzetz. Vushi yedavar she'in daitli lefanoisei. A big yesod in this perik is that you have to block it up with something that's not makabel tuma, and it has to be blocked up with something that you're not planning on being mefana and removing it. And therefore, there's a lot of details that the Rambam talks about to make sure that it's something that you're not planning on moving it away. So if it's not makabel tuma and you're not planning on moving it away, so then it's considered blocked up, and the tuma does not go out of that room into the next room or the next area. That's the yesod hadvarim really that's being talked about throughout this entire period. The Rambam, the Ravid right away in Halach Aleph comments. Omer Avram, he says, "Pachos mitefach lekezayis min hames, aval lemes sholim leyeser mikezayis dayoy imiate lepachos me'arba." In other words, the Rambam says that you have to block up this window till it's pachos mitefach. There's less than a tefach hole for the tumah to go out. The Rabbi says it depends. It depends what kind of a tumah you have in the house. So if you have in the house a kezayis min hames, so that type of tumah take goes out with a tefach, and therefore you have to bring this window down to less than a tefach. Mashenkin, if you have a meis sholem or yoser mikazayis, which is the same thing as a meis sholem, so then the tumah only goes out if it has arba tefachim. So then you don't need to block up this window to a point where there's pachos mitefach. It's enough to block up the window. There's pachos me'arba tefachim. And Mamis l'chora, the Rabbi is right. I mean, the fact is the Rambam said earlier, the beginning of Perik Zayin, when the Rambam gave the rules about this union, he said that what kind of a Pesach do you need? Kama Yashir Pesach, Hames Pischei Be'arba Tefachim, Kizayis when Hames Pischei B'Tefach. So the Rabbi is just really re-quoting the Rambam. The Rambam said that the shir of a Pesach is Dalet Tefachim for a mace and one Tefach for Kizayis. So the Rabbi says the same as an hour period. An hour period too, when you're blocking up the window, if it's a mace, you just have to bring it down to less than Arba Tefachim. But the Rambam doesn't make that chiluk here. Here the Rambam seems to say when you're blocking up the window, you always have to go down to pachas mitefach. The time of boy, what are they arguing about? And befrat, what's the Rambam's approach? The Rabbi is the same back a halacha that the Rambam himself said that a mace midalet tefachim, not one tefach. That's the first hasog in the Rabbi. Then there's another very important hasog. The next hasog is Rabbi. The Rambam said a general rule that it has to be ein daite lefanoisek. Whatever you're putting into the Pesach in order to block up the Pesach, in your mind, you have to leave it there. The Ravid says, that's dafke l'mayit b'chaloyim. Avalim sosmi l'gamri, afal bi shadaiti l'fanoisei soisum, doik v'tishkach. The Ravid says, it's not true. It depends. If you're just closing it most of the way, so then taka, that's where the klal of daiti l'fanoisei is written. But if Sasami Legamri, I blocked up the entire window, I closed the window. So then I don't need Daikil Lefanese. It's blocked. There's no window now. It doesn't matter as long as I'm yet Daikil Lefanese, not Daikil Lefanese, now there's no window. Very big machlekes, Rambam and the Rambam holds that even if you're going to block up the entire window, like the Rambam says, Meshmefurish, Shastama Kula, nevertheless you need the Tanai of Ein Daikil Lefanese. If it's Daikil Lefanese, even though the entire window is blocked up, the Rambam holds it's not considered blocked up, and the tumah is over. And the Rabbi says, no, if it's Tomei Legamri, the Rabbi says, then you don't need the Tanai Daiti Lefanesa. He doesn't even bring a makir. He says, Doik V'tishkach. Look, and you'll find that that's the Emes HaHalach. Second important machlekes Rambam and Rabbi over here. And then number 3, the Rambam talks about if you have a little chur that's peseach tefach and you block it up, same thing. You block it up, so it has to be in datil lefanasei. The same halachas. Amar Avram, Omer Ani, lechalei shu al bar al ba in ba lematoi tzorich sheyivatel b'yis amiut. Aval chur shel tefach in ba lematoi apal pi she'einei mevatel hamiut. The Rabbi says the whole dinam of datil lefanasei that the blockage has to be a permanent type of blockage is for a pesach that's daled on daled. But if you have a chur, a little hole that's only 1 tefach and you're making it less, it doesn't matter datil lefanasei. Not datil lefanasei is considered block. That's the third machlekes. 3 machlekes in right in the haschol of our Perek Halacha Aleph Beis and Gimel, where the Ravid is mechulik very, very strongly in the Rambam and Lam Mizbeinen, without too deep of Mizbeinenos. On all 3, the Ravid is taking a much more lenient approach to the ability to block up the window. In all three machlekes. In the first machlekes, legabi the tomb of a mace, you have a full mace, or yesir because I spent a mace in a house. The Rabbi says you just have to block up the window to bring it to pachos me'arba tefachim, because the shear of the Yitzias HaTumas is arba tefachim. And the Rambam says no, you have to bring it down pachos me'tah. Number 2, when your tak is soisim legamri, the Rabbi says if you're soisim legamri, then I don't care. Daiti lefanasei, not daiti lefanasei. There's no window. It's finished. And number 3, and the Rambam says no, even if he says soisim legamri, it has to be daiti lefanasei. Number 3, if it's a chur katan, only 1 tefach. So the Rabbi says, then whatever you do is good. Yeah, daiti lefanasei, not daiti lefanasei. And the Rambam says, no, weiter, it has to be ein daiti lefanasei. Otherwise, it's not a stima, even for a chur katan. In all 3, the Ravid is being makel in the din stima and saying it's okay when it's just pachas me'arba tefachim. It's okay if daiti lefanasei, if it's stomach kule. It's okay if daiti lefanasei, if it's a chur katan. And the Rambam is machmer in every case. Was tut sich? So Eidava Emes, the stuff from do good minds and in the Mishnayos and the Mefarshia Mishnayos, and I didn't do. So I'm talking to you, Pasha, from the actual machlekes and from these 3 machlekes and Gufa. What does it sound like? Is there shita and the din stima? What's the nekudas achiluk das man can verstehen what they're saying? The L'chura sounds like this. You have a window, and now it's blocked. How do you look at it? You put a blockage in a window. It would seem that the Rambam, who's always machmir, says be'etzem it's a window. Be'etzem, this is a chaloin, and you're trying to block a chaloin. So therefore, ki'ilu, the odds are against the blockage. The blockage has to prove itself. I'm saying in a funny way. The chidush is that this window should be blocked because really it's a geder of a window, and therefore he says a yeder zayt is a machmir. No, the take mashal, how much do you have to block the window so it should be considered a blockage? Let's take the first machlekes. So the Rabbi says, well, halach is the tomb is only yetze and dalet fachim, like the Rambam himself said earlier. So obviously, if you bring it down pachas midaled, you're done. The Rambam says no. Be'etzem, this is a window. So be'etzem, the tomb is yetze. Be'etzem is considered open. In order to close it, you have to change the whole agdara here. You have to make it that there should be a chur pachas mitafach. Kolzman, there's a 3 tefach. So the Rabbi time is it's only 3 tefachim. Tumas Meis. The Rambam says it's not 3 tefachim, it's 4 tefachim, it's 10 tefachim, it's an open window. You have to change the status. You have to make it a closed window. That starts when it's pachas mitefach. Kozman is more than there's 2 tefachim open, so you didn't close anything. So it's considered more than arba tefachim also. The Rabbi Vaisli says no. The Rabbi says the Metzias is this is closed and it's less than arba tefachim, so it's closed. I'll direct to the second machlokes. The Rabbi says, "Im stomach kulei." So there's no window. What's the problem? You have to look at your walls and think if it's one day, it's a wall. And the Rambam says, no, it's a window. Even if stomach kulei, it's a window. It's a window that's stomach kulei. So the mele, it's only mistam. If it's ein daiti lefanasei, if it's daiti lefanasei, was akmen as stomach kulei? It's not. It's a window. And the Rabbi says, no, it's stomach kulei. It's not a window. Who cares if daiti lefanasei? There's no window over here. When it comes to a chur katan, the Rabbi says a chur katan is a chur katan. Anything you do is good. And the Rabbi says no. Kolzman, it's not Kolzman. It's daiti lefanasei. You didn't do anything to the chur katan. So whatever the halacha of a chur katan is, that remains. The Nekuda said the Nekuda is the Rambam says that a chaloin is be'etzem a chaloin. It's be'etzem a pesach. So you have to be soisim the chaloin. So number one, again, I'm chazering. Number one, he said to bring it down to pachos mitafa chasnish to garnish nishkiton. It's still considered fully open, different than the first rabbit. Number two, afilu ibstami kule. It doesn't matter if daiti lefanese has to garnish kiton. And number three, afilu asachur koton. If it's daiti lefanese has to garnish kiton. And the rabbit is mechulak in yedekram. The rabbit seems to hold for care. L'chur, that means it's closed. Nervous. The rabbit says, if it's a Pesach of Dalit al Dalit, and you're only being mimait, not being seisem, so then you need a Tanai of Daiti Lefanese. Forget, later Rambam, the rabbit is only one place where you need a Tanai of Daiti Lefanese. It's a Pesach God of Dalit al Dalit. And that Pesach God of Gufa, you're not being seisem kula, you're just being mimait. Oh, so it's mamish, you're doing so little. You have choshev Pesach and you're only being memayit, then it only works if in daiti lefanese. But for anything else, the rabbit holds whatever you did. The churkotin, you made it less. Even this Pesach God, you made it a little bit less in daiti lefanese. So it's a good mitzvah. So even for the Tumas Meis, it's a good mitzvah as long as it's less than dalit vachim, as we explained. Eidas Alzheimer's can be and I hope I'm not connecting things that have no relationship whatsoever. But we already spoke Kama Po'anim for Shidna Shiuri Rambam Mashach the year, that the Rambam seems to have a shita that he looks at the Dover Kameshu will be Yisayde. Not the way it comes out in Peil Mamash, how it looks right now. The Indian has to be Mimdad Kameshu, who one dugma is the Rambam Lagabi, we said Dmei Karka, Hariyuki Karka, the Rambam until Yivinitam Lagabi. When there's a din of Chofar, Bebei, Sichon, Aris, and now there's a Tvi on Momen. Is that considered Momen? Is that considered Karka? The Rambam holds considered karka, even though the tviyah now is momen, but it's momen abom machmas karka is considered karka. We said it legabi yeshir and Rambam Mucheres. The Rambam holds talk for kain ein mitzine siniyode because heyes that the whole reason why the Yisrael is holding it is because of it's a suffix and suffix is a mitzvah chel v'rayah. So that suffix remains now also. Now the kain has it a mitzvah chel v'rayah. We said it earlier legabi Rambam and Gerish, legabi Tanai. If a person makes a Tanai in the get that you can't go to your father's home. So forever. So that's called a Tanai Ilamis. The home might fall down. I might sell the home. The father might die. But mitzad the Tanai Gufa, it's a Tanai Ilamis. The mitzvah says it might change, but the Tanai is a Tanai Ilamis. There I said, the Rambam holds by the Chalein, as a Chalein is a Chalein. Kolzman, the Chalein is not changed, but Muhuseit. If you're es Chalein, it's a Chalein. So even if Stomei Kuli, and even if Pachas Midalit, and all these machlekes, and the Rambam seems to get all the Shita say, the Chalein, black the Chalein, until is a Shini Muhusi. And that's dafke in daiti lefanese, like all the tanoim that the Rambam gives over here.